Hi there, I'm Megan and I go by Solar Glow Meditations. Tonight we're going to have a distance Reiki session where I have selected some tarot cards to help guide what sort of healing that we need for tonight, and pre-selected some stones to kind of go along with that to kind of set the energy tone. Before we get started, I do need your consent to work on your energy, so either out loud, in the comments, in your head, wherever you feel most comfortable, just consent to receive this energy healing. It would help me greatly if you could subscribe, and please do let me know if you guys have any questions or requests or anything along those lines. So yeah, so I'm just going to give you guys a brief overview of the reading for tonight, and then we'll move into the healing portion of this. So what's happening is that you are starting to complete a karmic cycle. You've been in a really tough spot for the last while, and you're finally getting past it. You're starting to transition away, move on, release that baggage. And this is bringing you a lot of peace, a lot of hope, a lot of like excitement for the future. You're kind of whole. You've kind of fulfilled this life lesson, this karmic relationship. You've broken out of this cycle, which is fantastic. But with that comes new pieces of shadow work and attachment and like something inside of you that you will need to revisit next. So even though this portion of it might be over and it'll be nice to take a breather for a little while, you want to pay attention to what else you need to work on moving forward. And if you do that, you're going to become independent financially. You'll be able to take care of yourself, but don't do it out of like suspicion or fear or deceit or self-centeredness. So I'd say it's a very much a balance of things going on in your life. So just as we get started, I have a piece of selenite here. It's going to help you release this baggage, kind of ground out some of this energy, some of this like really tough place that you've been in. Being carried away from the past and the events that have happened to you. One thing that I really like about this card, so this card is the Six of Swords, and in it there's a picture of the representation of you when you're kind of in this boat huddled over with like a blanket wrapped around you, and there's somebody else carrying you away from this situation. And this tells me that you have a really strong support network. You have a lot of people around you that care about you and are on your side. And even at the side of this person is like a small child, so there are lots of folks that care about you and are fighting for you. Starting to feel your energy move a little bit more, just downwards, out to ground. But I can tell there's this like feeling of like exhaustion and just not heaviness, but it's kind of like thick. there's a lot of emotion and energy to kind of process through. You're doing a great job of emptying out your mind and just not having thoughts pop up too, which feels like a change from this time that you've been in this situation. I think your mind is just exhausted. Your spirit is very tender right now. Breaking karmic cycles is really, really hard. There's so much energy that goes into it. Washing away some of that burden and pain and suffering and stress. Just letting it go. Next, we're going to move on to this piece of amethyst. I'm also wearing this amethyst, and I've got purple on because this really felt like it would be the crux of the situation. Filling you back up with hope and faith and purpose. Rejuvenate you. So this card is the star. There are so many stars shining bright above you, down onto you, kind of exposed to the world, and you're pouring out your soul, but you're kind of bent over, looking down at this water. And even though you're pouring out everything into this situation, you're full of hope, you're full of faith, and knowing that what comes out on the other side is going to be exactly what you need, what is meant for you. Don't get attached to what specific outcome you want there to happen, but know that it'll happen in a way that is really for your highest and best good. I hear those thoughts popping up of this is how you really want it to play out and how you think it might play out, but just let it go. It's going to play out however it plays out, and that is perfectly okay. You should just keep the faith that it it will come as it's meant to. Make sure you're breathing. Take a deep breath. Good. Okay. I'm going to move on to our next stone, which is a piece of red jasper. This is really great for your life force energy, your chi, yourself, your wholeness. It's going to fill you back up with energy and give you the energy you need and have been lacking from the exhaustion of this situation. So this card is the World. Interestingly enough, these cards are all feminine cards. Like there are certainly masculine figures in some of these pictures, like the Six of Swords and one of the cards down the line, but I think there's something to be said here about coming into your divine feminine power too. So with the World, this is really the representation of this completing of this karmic cycle. So in this image, there's a woman and she appears to have been running and she's sort of naked. She's got like a cover on her bottom half, but she's got two candles and it looks like she's burning them at both ends. Very could well be like staffs or something of that sort too, but these cards also have a quote which I really like. Everything you have ever worked for is coming together. And this woman is like protected by this circle encompassing her, and this really is representing this completion of the karmic cycle. But there's all these figures on the outside of this circle kind of looking in, kind of looking to get into her space. And the World and this karma is protecting her, or maybe she's protecting herself. It's very almost like chainmail like layer of like your aura or representing your space or just something of that nature. I can tell you're moving kind of up into your third eye. Things are getting pretty intense up in my third eye personally. I can feel it going straight there. Make sure you let the energy flow all through your body. We're gonna replenish the whole of you, but we're really working on our feminine intuition with this situation too. And that's really gonna be key to working through your shadow self and making sure that you're not being too self-centered, too greedy, too codependent, I guess. It's getting really intense up here. I'm gonna stop this one because I think we've gotten enough up there. Okay, the next stone we're going to use is Obsidian. We're going to just create a layer of protection around this hope and this life force and this groundedness to really help you keep your peace and your energy and your body. So this next card is the Devil. This is really where we need to work on our shadow self. One of the things besides protection that Obsidian's really good for is pulling out this negativity from your cells. I guess Shungite it's a little bit more cellular level, but Obsidian's really also great for pulling out this negativity. So as you get what you worked for, don't become addicted to this cycle. Don't become codependent. Don't allow the situation and the success that you find to become toxic to yourself. It's very easy to kind of let it get away from you and become a slave to it. And I say this because this card has a picture of Baphomet kind of overlording these two women in chains, and they're kind of chained to the stand that he's standing on. So he's kind of become like their overlord. So we're going to protect you from being one of these slaves. And really staying out of this karmic cycle. So you've broken it, now you've got to stay away from it. You don't want to fall back into these same patterns again. So as you complete this karma, really take a minute to kind of reflect and do some honest evaluation of yourself and kind of the situation that happened. What did you do to get in that situation? What responsibility can you take, and how can you avoid doing that in the future? You can tell there's like this desire to kind of fall back into these habits and really trying to push that out and away and keep it away. Okay, the last card is a reverse Queen of Pentacles. So I've got this piece of green adventuring. I should say Queen of Pentacles in reverse. The reverse definitions are a little bit confusing to me, but let's read the upright ones. So this one's about providing financially, being supportive, reliable, working parent, nurturing. But the reverse of this card talks about financial independence, self care, and having like a work home conflict. But it also talks about being like self centered, jealous, smothering, mistrustful, devious, deceitful, which I'm not quite sure how we get from financial independence to deceit. And I think this has to do with, so coming out of this situation, you have either achieved financial independence or will somehow get there. And that you need to do some self care, but why does that cause conflict between work and home? This card is a little bit more of a mystery to me, but feels like you'll be vibrating on a higher level. The energy that is flowing through you right now, we've really been kind of stuck in our third eye, and there's just this desire to kind of move up and out into the ether. If you're familiar with the chakra system, the typical ones are the seven placed through your body, but you actually have chakras above your head. So you have an eighth chakra, a ninth, and I think it goes up to like 16 or something like that. It's really about like the etheric and your dream body and your dream state. You're moving up out into those spaces. The wonderful thing about Reiki is that it goes exactly where it needs to. It's almost like this is like healing with your higher self too. Not just your soul, but the whole. I don't know how to describe it because like you are a part of your higher self. Your higher self is you, but you're like a sub piece of that, I believe, and this goes beyond just the soul of this lifetime. There's a lot of energy happening there. I have no words for it besides just to like experience this with you. Um, I think it'd be helpful for you to continue to sit in meditation as long as you can. So I will continue to run the music post the video recording piece of this. Just take some time and pay attention to what is flowing through you, how it feels, what sort of information you can kind of glean from this, because there's more that your higher self is trying to communicate with you or to you right now, but it's not. Feels like it's a very like personalized message that I can't convey to like a general audience kind of in this venue. So just sit here for a while and feel and hear and know and see what you can. Thank you for being with me tonight.